So anyway, Star Wars toys, they look cool, but Max.
Yeah, I got together some real bad ones because there have been some really bad Star Wars toys over the years.
Yep.
If you show me a Star Wars toy that was released between 1995 and 2005, there's a good chance I can tell you what it is and where it came from. I spent way too much time on websites like Rebel Scum and yakface.com when I was in high school. So let's take a look at some of these wonderful toys. Here is a real famous one. A lot of people have passed this around because it's one of the worst toys you could possibly make. It's like, this is what makes dads yell at their kids.
What is this?
This is a Jar Jar Binks lollipop.
You're supposed to put that in your mouth?
You are supposed to
suck on his tongue?
Like, there's no way to make this not suggestive. No. You are sucking on Jar Jar Binks' tongue. Apparently, this is a cap candy. It's called like Monster Mouths. God, and I don't know if this is part of a series that just never took off.
You know when you're watching Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives and Guy Fieri's like, I gotta really cock my neck back to fit this whole burger. Like, Jar Jar is doing that. Like, he has dislodged the bottom of his throat to get his tongue out to really slip it into a kid's mouth. That is a sentence I just said right here at work. Live on IGN.com. This is a real toy they made for a PG movie.
I get physically uncomfortable imagining somebody like a child. I don't know which is worse, a child or an adult using one of these.
I don't know how much longer I can look at this picture.
All right. Next up, we've got. Whoa! This is famous. This is the Monkey Leia, as she's known. This was the first modern Star Wars figure release. This came out in 1995. Basically, everybody looked like they were on steroids. Pretty much.
This is a great find.
Kenner put out the reboot. This was as we were approaching the special edition Star Wars. They put these out and like Han and Lando all look like muscular. They look like G.I. Joe Extreme figures. And they didn't even try. Did
they repaint Luke's arms and then just put boobs on it? Because it looks like he's got very muscular arms. She also has these huge hands that are too big to hold anything that she. It looks like she's trying to.
Toys have come a really long way.
She's like, hey, you got those big soup cans? Can I hold on to some soup cans? This is like, remember in Spaceballs when they're chasing them through the hallway and they turn around and it's their stunt doubles and Princess Vespa has a mustache? That's what they look like they made a toy out of.
Yeah.
Wow.
So next up, this is a toy.
What is this?
This is a toy I actually had. If you grew up in the 90s, you probably remember koosh balls, which were like one of those things that somebody would give you and you weren't really sure what to do with it, but for whatever reason, mostly because you were a kid, you never threw it out. You just sort of had it.
Yep.
And they really, all they did was collect dirt and you'd rip off little pieces of them, and then you'd find them like stray hairs. They made Star Wars koosh balls, which don't really work because a koosh ball you can throw at somebody and it goes koosh and it doesn't hurt. If you've got Sebulba arms and legs and a head sticking out of it and you throw it, it doesn't really work like a ball anymore. It's no longer a ball. It just looks like Sebulba has it looks like a glitch in a game.
Yeah. Also, Sebulba, you have super weird legs.
Also,
you look like a ballerina.
When I was trying to find, that's where his arms.
Those are his arms down there?
His arms are in the bottom. He walks on his arms.
Oh, and his feet are out front?
He's a Gand.
Stop.
But yeah, so when I was looking for this picture, I found a picture.
For ages 3 to 137?
Yeah, shut up.
What's that?
Shut up.
What's that all about?
You give this to a 120-year-old man, he'll die.
I like how sad Darth Maul looks looking at Sebulba's koosh butt in this photo.
He looks like he's trying not to be seen. He's just backing into the darkness.
This was a bad time
When I was looking for this image on Google Images, I came up with a great picture of Sebulba and Jar Jar Binks in the throes of love. Some fan art that somebody had lovingly drawn really, really graphically. So that was a really great way to start my morning.
Yeah.
All right, next up, here's one that was, this was released towards the end of the episode 1 line, and I really have always hated this figure, because he just looks like, a guy who's gonna try to date your mom. Like if you're at like on vacation, like some guy's gonna kind of saunter up and he's like, hello there.
Well, this is like billowy Chicago wind tunnel Qui-Gon. Like he's like, I gotta go to this gym, but it's a really windy day.
I think if you put his arms up, it sort of looks like he's in the middle of a fight. They had another one that was like an Obi-Wan. They had a Darth Maul that kind of went with it. And you're supposed to put them all together and they all look dynamic, but
what's going on with that hat head, that motorcycle hair going on back there? And is that real? What is that?
It's really just upsetting.
That gym tarp material around his crotch
That's
area.
called soft goods, Brian.
That is awful.
Finally, we have this one,
there
which
we
saw this.
Funny story about
we
this.
saw this at a Walgreens.
This is apathetic Anakin, right? Yeah, I guess like we could totally like stop the dudes from like the Senate, but like I don't want to. You and I were in a Walgreens in Seattle, about half a block from the Space Needle, and you were incredibly sick this weekend.
Yeah.
After PAX, after all the PAX kissing you did.
Yep.
And me and Mitch Dyer, IGN employee, were running around, and Marty Sleva, and we picked this thing up, and we could not stop laughing at
I was
its face.
waiting in line silently with a bunch of other adults, and I hear hooting and guffawing and giggling from you idiots.
Yeah.
And then you come around the corner while I'm just about to go in a line to pay for a bunch of cough medicine, and you come up to me and you're like, hey Max, you should buy this. And you hand me a souvenir mug that says "Gone Squatchin'" and has a picture of a Sasquatch on it.
Because he's really big up there.
Moral of the
that
story
actually,
is,
it makes more sense to find a Gone Squatchin' mug in Seattle, where a home of the Sasquatch, than it does to find an Anakin Skywalker action figure in 2015 in an actual store. There's really, like, when you go to a Walgreens, they don't really have the most robust toy section. They only have a few things. So to see this guy sitting there, just unbelievable to me.
Yep. Also, I love that it says includes lightsaber. Like that's some kind of wonderful bonus for a Star Wars action figure.